Dumb teens are the foundation of horror movies, specifically slasher horror movies. Think Scream, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street. All movies reliant on teens doing dumb things to get themselves killed. Now, although we may scream at the screen when they run up the stairs instead of out the front door, we can't help but love them. However, some are so dumb that we can't possibly forgive their bizarre choices. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 dumbest teenagers in horror movies. Before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. In at 5, Addison from Saw 2. For most people, this Saw trap was one of the most brutal in the entire franchise, simply because it was entirely avoidable. Now, Saw 2 follows Detective Eric Matthews, who is on the hunt for the twisted vigilante serial killer, Jigsaw, with his team having to apprehend the elusive murderer to rescue 8 people trapped in an abandoned house, before they succumb to his torturous and murderous game. Now, one of these people is Addison, a prostitute who was briefly framed by Detective Eric Matthews before being targeted by Jigsaw. Now, the victims trapped inside the abandoned home are supposedly being poisoned by a nerve agent, which is filling the house, and in order to survive, must find the antidotes hidden throughout the home. Now, Addison branches off from the rest of the group to find the antidote on her own, and severely weakened by the gas, stumbles into a room with a large glass box suspended from the ceiling with 4 chains. A syringe with the antidote is glued to the bottom of the box. Now, I should say that Jigsaw puzzles are easily some of the most devious inventions, both brutal in execution and almost impossible to get around without putting yourself in serious harm. However, Addison's trap is different and could have been avoided. Now, Addison puts her hand in the box, only to grab the wrong end of the syringe, resulting in the liquid pouring out. She then inserts her other hand, quickly realizing the holes are lined with blades, preventing her from removing her hands. Now, she could have easily avoided this entire thing, and the box could have been solved with little to no pain at all. By examining the box or walking around it, she could have figured out the solution. The solution being, do not insert both hands into the box. You can use your other to get yourself out. Poor Addison, you could have lived, girl. In at 4, Poolside Kid, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge. Any fan of Nightmare on Elm Street will know that Freddy cannot be reasoned with. He is a cold-blooded killer, but worse still, he is a supernatural cold-blooded killer. He has no feelings, no emotions, so in what world would he ever reason with a young teenager? In the first Nightmare on Elm Street sequel, we follow Jesse Walsh, a teen who begins to have reoccurring nightmares about Freddy after moving into the former home of Nancy Thompson. Classic. Now, in one particular scene, Freddy shows up to a pool party, and rather than running away as fast as possible from this demonic killer, one kid stands up to him, even tries to reason with Freddy by talking him out of his violent massacre. I mean, I honestly want to laugh even explaining this moment. Of course, Freddy kills him first before moving on to the other teens. However, we couldn't help but wonder what the kid was expecting to happen. Did he think that the supernatural Freddy would develop a heart and decide to return to his dream world, never to torment again? Of course not. We have 7 more movies to get through. Things can't end at number 2, guys. Also, who even invited this guy to the party? He seems like the literal worst. In at 3, Derry from Jeepers Creepers. Now, this is perhaps the most underrated horror movie on our list, and one that still holds up. I love Jeepers Creepers, and no matter how much time passes, it still absolutely terrifies me. The film itself centers on 2 siblings who become the target of a demonic creature, Breck, in rural Florida. Yep, demonic creatures in Florida. Doesn't get worse than that. Now, before this point fully begins, I want to pose a question to you guys. If you saw a demonic creature on the side of the road dumping what seems to be a body down a drainage pipe before spotting you, hopping in a truck and running you off the road before driving away, would you either A, drive to the nearest rest stop and call the cops, or B, double back and investigate the scene? Most, I would hope, would pick A, right? I certainly would. However, not Derry, played by Justin Long. Nope. Him and his sister double back, with Derry even falling down the hole, which we quickly discover is used for the disposal of human remains. And of course, Derry dies horrifically, actually. His skin is literally removed from his body, intact that is. But I can't help but say that he got what was coming for him. Never double back, people. You never know what drain pipe you might fall down. In at 2, Mike from the Blair Witch Project. Now, this number is more infuriating than dumb, because let's face it, when we found out that Mike threw that map into the river, we were all screaming out in rage. Now, folks either love or hate Blair Witch. Personally, I'm one of the lovers, and I genuinely found this movie terrifying when it first came out. And and was even one of the "this has to be real" believers. Now the film of course follows 3 teens who got lost in the Maryland woods when researching the Blair Witch, and then like all classics they lose their damn minds. Now if you're one of the 3 kids and you're not yet aware that you're in grave danger or in a horror movie situation, the one thing you do not do is throw away the map that you need in order to get yourself back to society. Just don't do it. To make things worse, not only did Mike throw the map away, he kicked it into the river and began to laugh because he's a crazy person who has lost his damn mind. Honestly, it enrages everyone so much to the point that when we finally find ourselves in the basement, with Mike in the corner put there by the witch, we're not too torn up about it. That or he put himself there because he realized how much of an idiot he had been. Either or really. And finally coming in at number 1, Tatum Riley from Scream. Now I should preface this point by saying I love Scream. I love Rose McGowan, I even loved her character Tatum Riley. However, Tatum screwed up big time in Scream and she got what was coming to her. Rookie mistake guys, there's a reason she made it all the way to the top of our list. Now of course Scream follows the killer Ghostface who terrorizes the town of Woodsboro, specifically Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell. Tatum is of course Sidney's best friend, and best friends typically don't do well in slasher movies, and this case is no different. However, it is the dumbest, and to be the dumbest takes something truly innovative, specifically a garage door and a dog flap. During one particular scene during a party, Tatum finds herself in the garage, grabbing some beer before being cornered by the masked killer. Now being in a garage, surely she would have numerous weapons or instruments at her disposal to use on the killer, right? Nah, she heads for the garage door instead. Instead of defending herself, she chooses to squeeze her body through a doggy door. A dog door that literally anyone could have told her would not fit her body. No shame, just facts. So in the end the door goes up, Tatum is stuck in the dog flap, and poof, she's dead. We all saw it coming except for Tatum apparently. Even the movie franchise Scary Movie parodied the scene, and yet it still wasn't as dumb as the original, and that says a lot. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any dumb teens that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, Top 5 Scariest Monsters from TV Shows Part 2. Ox the Undead 666 said, Tim Curry haunts my dreams just like you do, oh Queen Lucy. Good, let's keep it that way. All-powerful Lord Twago Hashirama calls not just do said, what a name. Lucy gives me nightmares sometimes. It's okay though, I like the moment of waking up in a cold sweat, looking over to my sleeping puppy and knowing that everything is once again okay. Whoa, I didn't tell you could wake up. Who said you aren't still dreaming? I'm always here. Michael Smith said, oh sweet dear Lucy, Pennywise is the most wonderful clown for all of us floaters anyway. Whoa, calm down Michael, I'm very concerned about you. Leon LaCroix said, love that you mentioned Dead by Daylight, huge fan of that game. I currently play as Steve, Dwight and Kate. Nice, nice. I play as Steve at the moment, but I'm also a big fan of Ghostface and David. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.